Welcome to another edition of the Predicted Paths Packet Processing Short production. Today we've got two uncovered switches, and I promise you I will have spent more time moving this obnoxious server than I will have producing this video. In our last video, we briefly went over the Barefoot Tofino fully programmable switch with a promise to turn this 3.2 terabit processor here into a hub. But before we do that, here at Predicted Paths, we're listening. Drew writes, I love this idea. I don't have any video editing tips, but in terms of framing the content, I suggest, here are all the parts inside, ASIC, CPU, etc. Here's what each part does. Here's each step a packet frame passes through as it comes into and then exits the switch. Drew, the content manager over at Packet Pushers, that's a great idea. Let's do just that. The last time we went over the switch, I pointed at some chips and made some snide comments. This time, we're going to look at two different switches and go over what happens when something comes in this part and goes out that part. So, then, what does go inside there? Well, where the hell's the camera? There we go. Where does that does that say 100? But then the label's over there. That's dumb. Well, one of these, 100 gig QSFP 28 SR4. That is a bunch of fiber. And on the other end is the part that turns the pew 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 into beep bop boop. What I mean by that is the flashing lights in the front turn into zeros and ones in the back. Now, let's plug this bad boy, or girl, or really just an optic. I'm putting it in the wrong way. Lovely. Let's put this bad optic right in there. And before anyone starts making comments, because you're going to make comments, yes, this one has no protector. These do. And guess what? I have a cleaner. Those people who make those comments, nobody likes you. You're not getting invited to all of the cool parties. From those cages, skipping a little bit of physics and a bunch of other details nobody cares about, we end up at the switching ASIC. That process of turning pew 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 into beep bop boop, or optical signals into electrical 0 and 1 signals, is commonly known as SERDES, or serialization deserialization. Now, here, if I spent any kind of production value, I would overlay this really cool RMT graph. Nobody cares. Inside that chip is some pretty cool stuff, and maybe I'd have some visuals of it, so let's go to those. What happens when a packet or frame or datagram enters a switch and then leaves it? Well, if it's going fast, it's happening all right here. When it's hitting the slow path or being punted to the control plane, those packets are sent traditionally via a PCI bus, but more commonly with increased speeds via either a 10 gig or 100 gig NIC connection. While trumpet and accordion music I can't identify softly serenades us in the background, let's continue our journey on how packets get through switches. Without pausing a moment for that music to stop, let's dive into where the management plane traffic happens. That's the magic of configuring the blinky lights and also taking care of power, fans, and making sure the control plane's happy. That's our out-of-band IPMI. These are Broadcom 1 gigabit Ethernet fees. SGMI, nope. Music's still going because we don't stop. Here's an Altera FPGA that controls the I2C, GPIO, and other strange connection buses that, again, let you turn on an interface and make things blink, or the fans less quiet. Now, I could go on and on about this board layout, and I'm pretty sure I have access to all of those dirty details, but Intel still has lawyers. So let's go over to the Open Compute Delta Electronics, where is it? AG9032 version 2.